No one in the entire town knew why Ethan. Holly stood alone in his living room that cold December night, staring at the clock as it approached midnight. Except for Ethan himself, and the secret he had kept buried for 10 long years. He wasn't the type of man to panic, not even under pressure, but tonight his hands trembled. The storm outside roared loudly, wind biting against the windows, echoing the storm raging inside him. Ethan, a quiet, hard-working ranch owner who lived miles away from the nearest neighbor, had always believed he could do life alone. Until he couldn't. Until he learned that his late grandfather, the man who raised him, had left a condition in the will. Ethan must be married by midnight on his 30th birthday, or the family ranch would be taken by the bank and transferred to a distant relative, who planned to sell everything to a corporation. That ranch wasn't just land, it was memories. The smell of pine, the creek where he learned to fish, the barn his grandfather built with his bare hands. It was the last piece of family Ethan had left, and now he had only minutes to save it. He had tried everything. He didn't have a girlfriend, didn't have time to date, and didn't want a fake marriage. But desperation had a way of rewriting rules. And tonight, he was out of options. The clock read 11:58 p.m. Ethan closed his eyes, feeling the weight on his chest grow heavier, accepting that everything was slipping away. Rain thrashed against the door like fists, the storm turning wild. In that moment, he whispered to himself, "Grandpa, I tried." And just when he had given up completely, a knock echoed through the house. A loud, urgent knock. Ethan's eyes snapped open. His heart pounded. For a moment, he wondered if he imagined it. But then the knock came again, sharp, desperate, almost pleading. He hurried toward the door, confusion twisting through his mind. No one ever came out here this late. No one would travel this far in such a storm. He pulled the door open, and lightning cracked behind the figure, standing on his doorstep, a soaked, shivering young woman holding a broken suitcase, her eyes red from tears. She looked up at him, trembling. "Please, I need help." Her voice wavered, almost fragile. Ethan froze. He didn't know her. He had never seen her before. But something about her, something in her eyes felt familiar, like a memory he never had. "Are you hurt?" he asked. The woman shook her head, not physically, but "I don't know where else to go." She swallowed hard. "My name is Mia." She stepped forward slightly, hugging herself as cold rainwater dripped from her coat. "My car broke down a mile back. I've been walking in the storm for almost an hour. You were the only house with lights on." Ethan stared at her, the intensity of the moment almost impossible to process. 11:59 p.m. His heart raced. Fate couldn't be this strange, could it? He stepped aside. "Come in before you freeze." As Mia entered, Ethan grabbed a towel and handed it to her. She thanked him quietly, her voice shaking. She looked exhausted, like she had been running from something far worse than the storm. "You live alone?" she asked, scanning the room. Ethan nodded. "Just me." She hesitated, then asked softly, "Are you expecting someone tonight?" Ethan let out a breath, almost a laugh, though it wasn't funny. "No, definitely not." Mia sat on the couch, her hands trembling as she wrung water from her hair. Ethan glanced at the clock again. 1 minute from losing everything. 1 minute from a future he never imagined. And 1 minute after a stranger walked into his life like a scene written by destiny. He didn't know what to say, but she saw his expression, the storm behind his eyes. "You look like you're the one who needs help," she murmured. Ethan looked at her, surprised. "Why do you say that?" Mia gave a small, sad smile. "Because you're staring at the clock like it's about to destroy your world." Ethan exhaled slowly. Something in him opened. Maybe it was the storm. Maybe it was the loneliness. Maybe it was the way Mia looked at him, not with judgment, but with understanding. "Tonight's my last chance," he admitted. "My grandfather left a condition in his will. If I'm not married by midnight, my family ranch is gone forever." Mia blinked. stunned. Married. Tonight? Ethan nodded, embarrassed. He expected her to laugh or walk out, but Mia didn't. Instead, she whispered, "And how much time do you have left?" Ethan looked at the clock. 11:59 a minute. Mia sat perfectly still. Then something shifted in her eyes, some courage. Some wild spark that surprised even her. She took a breath. "Ethan, I know you don't know me, and I don't know what kind of life you have here, but I can tell you're a good man. You opened your door to me in the middle of a storm without hesitation. And her voice broke. I have nowhere to go. No home, no plan, no one waiting for me." Ethan's chest tightened. She wasn't lying. Her eyes held the years of hurt. She continued, "Maybe we can help each other. Just for tonight. Just enough so you don't lose what you love." Ethan stared at her, stunned by her bravery. "You're saying, marry me?" she whispered. "Right now?" Thunder shook the house as the two of them stared at each other. Ethan stepped closer, slowly, like approaching something delicate. "Mia, are you sure? This isn't a small thing." She nodded. "Nothing in my life has ever made sense. But knocking on your door at exactly 11:59? Maybe for once something is meant to be." Ethan took her hands gently. "I don't want you to feel forced." "I don't," she whispered. "I want a chance to start over, and maybe you deserve one too." The clock ticked. 11 hours, 59 minutes, and 32 seconds. Ethan made his decision. With a quiet, breathless urgency, he grabbed the small marriage license his lawyer had sent earlier that day. He had left it on the table out of frustration, believing he would never use it. Mia stood tall, brave, trembling but determined. Together they signed, their hands shaking as the clock neared its final seconds. 11 hours, 59 minutes, and 58 seconds. Ethan's voice broke as he whispered, "Thank you." Mia smiled softly. "Maybe we both needed this." 11 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds. They sealed the document. Just as the clock hit midnight, the house seemed to breathe with them. Outside, the storm suddenly softened, as if nature itself released a sigh of relief. Ethan looked at Mia, the woman who appeared out of the darkness exactly when he needed her. She looked back, her eyes no longer filled with fear but hope. "So," Ethan whispered, "what happens now?" Mia smiled shyly. "Maybe we try to understand why destiny brought us together." Ethan nodded, his chest warm for the first time in years. "Mia, welcome home." And in that silent, powerful moment, they both realized something. This wasn't an accident. This was the beginning of a story written by fate itself.